This is Sky News at 4, the top stories. Catalonia's sacked president has called on Catalans to peacefully oppose Spain's formal takeover of the region. But in the Spanish capital, people have been marching in support of the central government's hardline approach. Breaking news, 2 suspected car bombs have exploded near a hotel in the Somali capital, just over a week after 300 people were killed in the country's worst ever terror attack. In the UK, the Environment Secretary Michael Gove apologises after making a joke about sexual assaults. All of the Royal Navy's submarine crews are to be tested for drugs after 9 servicemen on a nuclear submarine are sacked after testing positive. The outgoing head of one of the biggest NHS trusts tells Sky News the health service is facing the toughest money crisis in its history.
In sport, Anthony Joshua defends his world heavyweight titles against Carlos Takam in Cardiff. And in the Premier League, Manchester United narrow the gap at the top of the table by beating Tottenham 1-0 at Old Trafford.
A very good afternoon to you. The disputed president of Catalonia has called on people in the region to peacefully oppose Spain's formal takeover. Carlos Puigdemont was speaking for the first time after the government in Madrid took direct control of Catalonia, sacking him and dissolving the region's parliament after its declaration of independence yesterday. He said it wasn't up to the government in Madrid to dismiss him from his position.
Ahir també el Consell de Ministres espanyol
Spanish ministers are stopping the Catalan government, intervening in running its operations and dissolving the parliament. These decisions are contrary to the wishes of the citizens of our country.
pels ciutadans del nostre país a les urnes, que sap perfectament
In a democratic society, it is Parliament that choose or dismiss the president.
o cessen els presidents. Continuem perseverant en l'única...
Independent supporters should continue persevering without violence. We do have to continue defending this stage with civic commitments. We should respect the opinions and symbols of everyone, including those who don't agree with independence.
que no estan d'acord amb el que ha decidit la majoria parlamentària.
We have no reason for force, nor do we want it. We will continue to work to build a free country and to maintain fraternity with the peoples of Spain.
Well, our Europe correspondent Michelle Clifford is in Barcelona for us now. Michelle, where exactly do things go from here?
Well, the Madrid government intends to pursue taking over direct control of Catalonia over leader, who's now been ousted, they say that they're going to use their numbers to protect him from the police. There are real worries now about tension and clashes on Catalan streets.
OK, Michelle, thank you. Well, I'm joined now by Joseph Atlai, Professor of History at the University of Barcelona. Very good evening to you. First off, the Spanish Prime Minister has said that he will look to declare the vote unlawful. In your opinion, is that a wise move?
Well, what we did yesterday was to proclaim the independence, and this was done by the democratically elected parliament. And the independence parties have a majority. So, and everybody could vote in that parliament. The members of the parliament who didn't want to vote, they just left the parliament voluntarily. But as we did in the referendum, of course, we are defending the right of everybody to vote. Those who are against independence and those who are for independence. But democracy means that the ones who have the majority, they will finally decide what's the future. And in this case, we have a clear majority, an overall majority in Parliament. So the members of the Parliament yesterday voted for the creation of a new democratic country, which is the Republic of Catalonia, which is still in place, and it will be in place, either the Spanish government likes it or not.
You are clearly pro-independence. Are you concerned about the economy, though? Because events in recent weeks has really impacted on the region.
Well, of course, there might be some impact in the economy. It's not, in this case, we don't consider it's our responsibility. The responsibility is coming from the Spanish government. They favor companies, Catalan companies, not that they favor. We know that they forced some Catalan companies to move from Barcelona to Madrid. What we cannot do is to oblige the companies or the Spanish government to follow a certain policy. But these kind of threats, they will not affect our determination, our firmness. This is a question of dignity. This is the dignity of the Catalan people in a democratic and peaceful way, as our president said today. We voted for independence, and we will pursue in this goal with the help, I hope, of the entire world and other countries.
Well, you say the help of other countries. The UK has said that it doesn't recognise the vote. What impact will this have on the international community? Well,
we were not expecting any country to recognize the new Catalan Republic. History explains us, and history, as you know, repeats all the time, that when you declare independence, and in this case, we have been forced to declare it unilaterally, as in most of cases in the world, it takes some time before some countries will recognize that independence. I can just remember the case of Lithuania in 1991, now is a full member of the European Union. Lithuania has said that it will not recognize us. Okay, so Lithuania, it took 1 month after there was some important violence provoked by Soviet soldiers in Lithuania to get Iceland to recognize Lithuania. So, and after Iceland came many other countries, but it took at least 1 month after that happened. And it took several months after they declared independence. So, as our president said, we have patience, but we have perseverance. So we will persevere in our goal of independence. And it doesn't matter if it takes 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months.
OK, Joseph Alay, thanks very much for your expertise.
Welcome. Good evening.
Breaking news in the last hour or so, 2 suspected car bombs have exploded near a hotel and gunfire has been heard inside it in the Somali capital. Casualty numbers are unknown, but police have confirmed the first blast happened at the Nasser Hablod Hotel, close to the presidential palace. It comes just over a week after more than 350 people were killed and 500 injured in a double car bombing in the city in what was the country's worst ever terror attack. Now, a warning of some flash photography here. In her first public comment since accusing film producer Harvey Weinstein of rape, actress Rose McGowan said she'd been silenced for 20 years, but won't remain quiet about sexual assault and harassment. The actress said her experience is shared by many.
I've been harassed. I've been maligned. And you know what? I'm just like you. Because what happened to me behind the scenes happens to all of us in this society. Hollywood may seem like it's an isolated thing, but it is not. It's all told through 96% males in the Directors Guild of America. That statistic has not changed since 1946. So we are given one view, and I know the men behind that view. And they should not be in your mind, and they should not be in mine.
The Prime Minister is calling on smaller companies to publish details of their gender pay gap. Theresa May has already introduced plans for employers with more than 250 workers to publish data on gender pay and bonuses by April next year. But now she's urged smaller firms to do the same. It comes after figures this week revealed the overall gender pay gap rose to 18.4% in 2017. The Environment Secretary is facing a barrage of criticism after his attempt at humour backfired. Michael Gove has now apologised unreservedly after making a joke about the Harvey Weinstein scandal in a radio interview earlier on this morning. Here's what he had to say, and you can also hear former Labour leader Neil Kinnock at the end of this clip.
Sometimes I think that coming into the studio with you, John, is a bit like going into Harvey Weinstein's bedroom.
I tell you what,
wait a minute.
You've got something else to say there, Michael.
John goes way past groping.
No.
Way past groping.
You just pray that you emerge with your dignity intact.
Well, those comments follow more claims today of sexual harassment and abuse from female aides and researchers in Westminster. Our chief political correspondent, John Craig, is in Westminster for us now. And, John, a bit of a gaffe there from Michael Gove.
Well, it provoked a Twitter storm, as you might expect. O'Mara over sexist comments that Mr O'Mara, the MP for Sheffield Hallam, made on Twitter, and also in some confrontations with one barmaid and one pub landlady.
OK, John, thank you. You're watching Sky News. Coming up, the Royal Navy serviceman on a nuclear submarine sacked after testing positive for drugs.
Ever available now on Sky Cinema Animation.
Sky News understands the Defence Secretary has ordered mandatory drug testing across the Royal Navy's submarine fleet. It comes after 9 British servicemen serving on the HMS Vigilant, one of the UK's nuclear submarines, were discharged after testing positive for drugs. Our reporter Phil Edwards has the very latest.
Yes, we understand that the Defence Secretary, Sir Michael Fallon, is absolutely furious at what is the latest scandal to hit the Royal Navy, and the latest scandal to hit this very submarine. HMS Vigilant was at the centre of a sex scandal earlier this year when the captain and his second-in-command were accused by a whistleblower at Faslane, the port in Scotland. The operation is now underway at the Ministry of Defence.
You're watching Sky News. Let's get a check now on all the day's sport.
This sports bulletin is brought to you by Vitality.
Sorry.
For life insurance that rewards healthy living.
Good afternoon. Manchester United have temporarily narrowed the gap on Manchester City to 2 points at the top of the Premier League. Saturday well underway over on Sky Sports News. We are back later this hour.
For life insurance that rewards healthy living. Vitality.
Let's take a look at the weather now.
Whatever the weather, enjoy your holiday. Multitrip.com Travel Insurance, proud sponsors of Sky News Weather.
It'll turn out mostly fine on Sunday after a grey damp start in the south, but exposed North Sea coast will see a few showers running in on a stiff wind. Before then, it'll be mainly cloudy to the end of the afternoon, with fog and drizzle on coasts and hills, but northern Scotland and southeast and central England will be dry and sunny spells. There'll be gales in the north. Southern Britain will see cloud taking over tonight, bringing patchy drizzle and hill fog. Elsewhere, Ireland will keep a lot of cloud, but northern and central parts will see the UK having skies clearing. Eastern Scotland can expect a few showers later on. It'll be pretty windy near North Sea coast. The north will turn chilly as skies clear, with a patchy ground frost developing. Cloud and drizzle in the south will largely clear on Sunday morning.
Multitrip.com Travel Insurance, proud sponsors of Sky News Weather.
You're watching Sky News. Coming up, all the latest technology news with Gemma in Swipe, including why this smart street is just so smart. You're watching Sky News, the top stories. Catalonia's sacked president has called on Catalans to peacefully oppose Spain's formal takeover of the region. At least 2 people have been killed in a double car bomb in the Somalian capital just over a week after 300 people died in the country's worst ever terror attack. The Environment Secretary Michael Gove has apologised unreservedly after making a joke about the Harvey Weinstein sex scandal. It's now time for Sky's weekly technology show Swipe. Here's Gemma.
Welcome to another serving of Swipe. Here's what we've got for you on this week's show at Sky News Swipe. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Retiring chief executive of one of Britain's biggest NHS trusts has told Sky News that the health service will grind to a halt without a significant cash injection. Nationally, demand for NHS services is rising by around 4% a year, but funding's rising at its lowest ever rate, with a real term cut of 0.7% promised for next year.
I've been a chief executive of NHS organisations for 27 years. This is the toughest financial environment that I can recall. And I think it's fair to say, objectively, it's the toughest financial environment the entire NHS has faced. My own view is that the NHS does need sustained improvements in funding, and quite properly, all of us in hospitals and other parts of the NHS will be required to improve our productivity and efficiency. That goes without saying. But without an appreciable and sustained increase in funding for the NHS, I think the future is extremely challenging.
The United States Defense Secretary has said that the threat of nuclear missile attack by North Korea is accelerating. Jim Mattis was speaking during a visit to South Korea, where he accused Pyongyang of outlaw behaviour and said that America will never accept a nuclear North Korea. 250,000 more people are now working night shifts than 5 years ago, according to new analysis. The Trade Union Congress found that 1 in 8 people work overnight on a regular basis. It says the report shows that night workers deserve stronger rights and protections. Potholes are often a nightmare for drivers during the winter months, but one council, Cumbria, is using plastic waste on the roads to try to deal with the problem. 2 other councils have also started trials of the scheme, which could help reduce the single-use plastics in our environment. Sky's correspondent James Matthews has this report.
They're calling it the road to a better environment. Bottles and 90 plastic bags. Down this road is the drive to save the planet. James Matthews, Sky News, Dumfries.
And remember, you can make a difference by joining our campaign. Sign up at skyoceanrescue.com to stay in touch and share your stories with us on Twitter. That's at skyoceanrescue using the hashtag #OceanRescue. Now, we're just going to bring you the latest pictures of Jeremy Corbyn. Here he is, arriving at the Unite Union in Aviemore in Scotland. The Labour leader, we understand, he's expected to say his party is undergoing a rebirth in its former Scottish heartlands. And it was all but wiped out, of course, in the 2015 election, but gained 6 seats in the snap election. We also expect him to talk about those allegations of sexual harassment later on today. You're watching Sky News. Coming up, roundup from the...
Quality mark. Legend.
Welcome back. We've just got a bit of breaking news to bring you out of Madrid and Barcelona, of course, all to do with this independence debate. We're hearing from a Spanish government spokesperson based in Madrid that if the Spanish government is confident that the regional police will obey the law, they say if the sacked Catalan president doesn't, then they would use common sense and intelligence in Madrid. And they've also said that they would welcome the sacked Catalan president's participation in democratic elections. Of course, those are on December the 21st. So that news coming out of Madrid in the last few moments or so. Let's take a look at the weather now, shall we?
Beneath pink skies by the Taj Mahal, or as the sun sets in the City of Angels.
It'll turn out mostly fine on Sunday after a grey damp start in the south, but exposed North Sea coast will see a few showers running in on a stiff wind. Before then, it'll be mainly cloudy to end the afternoon with fog and drizzle on coasts and hills. But northern Scotland and southeast and central England will be sunny with sunny, dry spells. There'll be gales in the north. Southern Britain will see cloud taking over tonight, bringing patchy drizzle and hill fog. Elsewhere, Ireland will take a lot of cloud, but northern and central parts of the UK will see skies clearing. Eastern Scotland can expect a few showers later on, and it'll be pretty windy near North Sea coasts.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
This is Sky News. Let's cross over now to the Sky Sports News studio for an update from there.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon. The Premier League's 3 o'clock with much more build-up to the big fight in Cardiff tonight between Anthony Joshua and Carlos Takam. 80,000 will watch that one, and you can watch it on Sky Sports Box Office. We are back in the next hour.
This is Sky News coming up. We're live in Catalonia as Spain struggles to deal with its gravest political crisis in over 40 years. Jane Secker is in Barcelona and have the very latest coming up just after this short break.